Come with me today on an aesthetic journey through my pen collection. I'm going to single out the most beautiful nibs in my collection, tell you a bit about how they write and what makes them so extraordinary. But today, it's all about beauty. Join me, won't you? Our first pen today, and our first nib, is Pineider's Full Metal Jacket La Grande Bellezza fountain pen, which has their quill nib on it. The quill nib is one of the most extraordinary nibs in any fountain pen that I've ever written with, certainly in a modern fountain pen. The feel is extraordinary. It is so soft and provides such an amazing writing experience, although ironically, it doesn't give you much line variation. You feel like it should, but it's just bendable without really giving you that fine to broad variation that you would expect. Now, on the aesthetic side, it is absolutely beautiful. It is an elongated nib. It says Pineider in beautiful cursive in the center. It has a really beautiful scroll work border and these really interesting notches at the bottom, which give it some of its flex. So this nib just really expresses some of what gold can do and how soft and amazing it can be in a fountain pen. It's one of my favorites, and it's absolutely beautiful, stunning, and inspiring. Our next pen is an absolutely beautiful pen, and it all comes down to its coloration. I'm speaking of the TWSBI VAC 700R in Iris. Now this nib is a JoWo nib made for TWSBI, has their beautiful logo on it and the obligatory scroll work, but where this nib transcends from the normal into the absolutely beautiful is the iris effect to the metal. Now there are two of these pens in this house. I own one, my wife owns one, and each is a little different. In fact, we can tell ours apart when we have the same ink in them just by the coloration of the nibs. But it's an absolutely beautiful sort of evolving color effect on that nib that just makes it that much more fun to write with. And when the light hits it and the sun hits it, it is so glistening and beautiful. It reminds you as if the prism were stamped onto the nib. It's absolutely beautiful and transformative. Our next choice is no surprise to fans of this channel. This is the Mont Blanc Egyptomania. This nib may be the most beautiful, the most interesting nib I've ever seen. It is smaller than many modern nibs, and it has a triangular breathing hole, which already marks it out as something unique. The writing experience is very soft and expressive too. But what really sets this gorgeous 14 karat gold nib apart is the dramatic, embossed, detailed Egyptian scarab motif. It is so interesting, so esoteric that you almost expect it to come alive and fly away with glittering golden wings. It is absolutely beautiful and a consummate joy to write with. This is truly one of the most beautiful nibs I've ever seen in my life on one of my favorite pens. Our next choice is the Mont Blanc 149 Meisterstück. This has an absolutely gorgeous 18 karat gold two-tone nib with beautiful scroll work, with the height of Mont Blanc in bold numerals across it. It is an absolutely gorgeous nib, just expressed in gold. It just looks like so much craftsmanship went into it and gives you that confidence that this is a fantastically smooth performing nib that is always going to be ready for you when you write with it. And writing with this nib is an absolute joy. Now, it's definitely more smooth than feedback, so if you prefer feedback, then take that into consideration. But on pure aesthetics, this nib is gorgeous, beguiling, absolutely beautiful. Let's look at this next pen, an absolutely stunning pen in every regard. This is the Pelikan M400 Souverain in red tortoise. Beautiful pen, and the nib is not a disappointment. It is absolutely gorgeous. First of all, it has that pelican symbol right in the center. Who doesn't love pelicans? And having it there at the center of the nib is just a reassurance of all the quality of pelican. It's also two-tone between yellow and white gold, 14 karat, and has this beautiful symmetrical Art Nouveau swirl that goes up to the tines, perfectly centered and around. It just gives you this old world French character to it, like you're going to meet Alphonse Mucha for a nice glass of wine, take some notes together, and enjoy your beautiful pens. It's an absolutely beautiful, brilliant nib. So now let's journey from Art Nouveau to Art Deco. Who doesn't love Art Deco? One of my favorite Art Deco inspired nibs is on the Waterman Charleston. Now this is a pen that's no longer made, but you can find it for around $100 on the used market. And this nib is beautiful. It's a little undersized, but that almost makes you feel like you can write with even more precision. I have this pen in fine, and if you've been following this channel, you know that fine, extra fine pens are very rare in my collection. Regardless, this nib is very smooth and a lot of fun to write with. I've taken it on many trips with me to Europe, and part of the reason is the beauty of that nib. It has this beautiful Art Deco design, it has the Waterman symbol, and it's done in beautiful gold. It's just one of my favorite pens to jot notes or to take to a museum, all because of that beautiful Art Deco inspired nib. Our next nib is the only 21 karat nib in my collection, and it's on the Sailor 1911L. It's an absolutely beautiful gold nib with a bold anchor for Sailor. It's one of my favorite symbols. The nib itself is quite firm and a bit rigid, but so smooth, and you get lovely feedback. In fact, it reminds me quite a bit of the nib on the Pilot Custom 823. That's how good this nib is. It's also beautiful, especially in the light. When it catches the light, it dazzles your eye and just gives you a moment of transcendence that you're writing with something that's absolutely beautiful, well crafted, and so much fun to draw different words across the page. The final pen I would like you to consider today is an 18 karat rose gold masterpiece on the Visconti Homo sapiens Bronze Age. Now certainly you need to be careful with these nibs. As you know, if you buy one of these pens, request that your pen seller checks it before they send it to you. But if you get a good one, boy is it good. This nib is a fantastic writer, very smooth, very expressive, an absolute joy. But on pure aesthetics, that rose gold nib goes so far. It is so beautiful, so intoxicatingly interesting, especially when it catches a reflection and glints back at you. This is truly a masterpiece of this Florence-based company. I absolutely love the design and the functionality of this nib, as long as you get a good one. So it's absolutely beautiful. So, did you enjoy this journey through all the most beautiful nibs that I have? Are there other beautiful nibs out there that you would like to suggest? Let me know in the comments. I would love to hear from you. Also, if you've made it this far, consider subscribing. I think you like this content. I would love to have you along on this journey with us. We go to many surprising places. Also, if you want to get more involved in the channel, consider becoming a member. There are all kinds of things going on behind the scenes. It's a lot of fun. I'd love to see you there. So I release new videos each week, and I have a live show Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. So I promise we will see each other again very soon, further up the road. So take care.